You're watching KPVM News 46. Weekend Review. With Deanna O'Donnell. And Jason Koblenz.
Welcome to News 46's Week in Review, your number one source for local news. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Jason Koblenz.
She's been missing for 6 years. Every once in a while, her name comes up in conversation. Whatever happened to Maureen Fields? The Nye County Sheriff's Office has some new leads on this cold case. On February 15th, 2006, 41-year-old bank teller at Wells Fargo, Maureen Fields, didn't show up to work. According to her husband, Paul Fields, he last saw her approximately 8 a.m. She stopped at the market there on Irene and Leslie before carrying on to work, where she did not arrive. Her car was later located in the Chicago Valley between here and Shoshone. The Nye County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help in finding a registered sex offender whose DNA was found in connection to 41-year-old missing woman Maureen Fields. Fields was reported missing in 2006. Authorities are looking for Keith Wayne Holmes, who is 81 years old, from Pear Blossom, California. Nye County officials said that Maureen Fields never showed up for work on February 15th of 2006 at a Wells Fargo bank located here in Pahrump. Her car was located in the Chicago Valley between Pahrump and Shoshone. They found DNA on a pair of pantyhose located in the vehicle from an unknown male. On August 15th of this year, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Forensic Laboratory identified the DNA as belonging to Holmes. Their investigation showed that Holmes began traveling to Pahrump around 2006, usually in his 1965 Ford camper. Holmes was arrested last year in Little Rock, California, for allegedly trying to lure a 12-year-old girl into his vehicle. The police reportedly found duct tape and rope in the car. The local CBS station in Los Angeles spoke to Holmes during an interview on scene, and he denied attempting to kidnap the child. Holmes is described as 5 foot 8 inches tall, 152 pounds, with blue eyes and gray hair. He has convictions for annoying or molesting a child and assault with intent to commit rape. For the past few years, there have been numerous searches for the body of Maureen Fields, who is thought at this point to be deceased. Her husband, Paul Fields, has long been the main suspect in this case. He also took a lie detector test with the Nye County Sheriff's Office in order to clear his name, because there was reports that, in fact, Paul and Maureen had had a fight before she left that morning on February 15th of 2006. That unknown male DNA belongs to 81-year-old Keith Holmes of Pear Blossom. If you have any information on the location or whereabouts of Keith Holmes, you're urged to contact the Nye County Sheriff's Office at 751-7000. This is Deanna O'Donnell for News 46.
Detective David Borokowitz spoke to News 46 about the new evidence in the Maureen Fields case that was discovered apparently 2 months ago. Maureen's husband, Paul Fields, called a New Jersey newspaper in order to release the information to Maureen's hometown, who have also been following the case. Detective Borokowitz released information to the press yesterday, reportedly in order to give the correct information regarding the update in the case.
We got a DNA match finally through CODIS. Comes back to a Keith Holmes out of California.
Why did it take so long to get this DNA match? Do you know?
Really, DNA just depends on when the perpetrator's DNA is put in the system. Our sample obviously is run continuously through the system, and it just finally hit on the subject. I can tell you he's definitely alive. We know where he is. We're not looking to locate him. We're simply trying for the public here to identify whether they've seen him here, if they've seen that camper here, try to put the pieces together. We know he's come to Pahrump several times, and we're just trying to put the pieces together about his involvement.
So he hasn't been, in fact, taken into custody at this point?
Not on our charges, no. He's in custody in California on the charges stemming from their incident last year.
Oh, okay. So he's still in there. And he has other charges, a rap sheet, for lack of a better term, similar charges.
He has been arrested for prior. He's a registered sex offender out of California. And like we said, he had that last incident last year for similar type charges.
Do you think that you'll be getting some information on where Maureen Fields is located at this point?
That's our hope. Obviously, we want to give her family some closure. And really, at this point, we're just working to try to put all the pieces. This is a new kind of branch in the investigation, and we're just trying to put the pieces together so we can close it finally.
Have you spoke to Paul?
I have spoken with Paul.
He was kind of under the spotlight for quite a while, wasn't he?
He was, and at this point, we haven't closed any of our leads, and simply this is a new and kind of different direction that we're investigating. And as with any investigation, there's always twists and turns, and you've just got to follow them as they come.
What has Paul and the family said?
Paul didn't say a whole lot, and obviously Maureen's family's interested. Anytime we're a step closer to hopefully finding her, they're very excited that we're getting a little bit closer.
There's many searches that have been conducted to try to find her. Do we have any leads in that direction?
Nothing at this point.
And authorities have the suspect in the 2006 missing person case in custody in California. 81-year-old Keith Holmes is incarcerated for a probation violation in connection to an attempted kidnapping of a 12-year-old girl in Little Rock, California last year. 41-year-old Pahrump local Maureen Fields went missing on February 15th of 2006. Her husband Paul said she left the house on Leslie Street at approximately 8 a.m. Maureen is said to have stopped at Coyote Corner convenience store on the corner of Leslie and Irene Street for coffee on her way to work as a bank teller at Wells Fargo. She never arrived. Her green 2004 Hyundai was located in the Chicago Valley between Pahrump and Shoshone. DNA collected in the form of skin cells from an unknown male was found on a pair of pantyhose inside the vehicle. The DNA sample has come back to Keith Holmes, who is a registered sex offender. Police are seeking information from the public regarding Keith Holmes, who frequented the area here in Pahrump in a 1965 Ford truck with a camper shell around the time Maureen Fields disappeared. She is presumed dead at this time, though her body has never been recovered. Paul Fields officially had his wife declared dead a few years ago. Based on the items found in her car, authorities initially suspected she might have driven out in the desert to kill herself. Eventually, though, they came to think that the scene may have been staged by her killer. Paul and Maureen Fields moved to Pahrump from Newark, New Jersey 10 months before his wife's disappearance. Maureen's car, which was located in the desert that Paul gave her as a Valentine's gift, still sits in his driveway. Since February 15th of 2006, 41-year-old Maureen Fields has been missing. There's a suspect in the case now, 81-year-old Keith Holmes. We're here at Maureen's husband's house, Paul Fields. We're going to speak to him about his experiences in this case. So 2 months ago, you were notified that they had this Keith Holmes as a suspect and his DNA was found.
Right.
Tell me what the last 6.5 years have been like.
Hell, especially from the police department in town. They spent more money on me, looking at me, instead of looking at my wife. They weren't out there looking for my wife. They were looking to hang me for something.
The police went through your whole property, your house.
15 times.
15 times.
At least. I said, the day, I knew I had a target on my back, so let me go up there and get it off. It never got off.
They describe as you being completely cooperative to a certain point and then no more.
What, no more?
Were you cooperative the whole entire time with them?
I let them in my house 15 times. I showed them my guns. I showed them whatever they wanted to see. Well, what else can I do?
The reports that you and Maureen had an argument earlier.
Spat. Yeah. There's a difference between a fight and a spat. I said she was supposed to do something. She didn't do it. And I says, well, don't worry about it. We'll do it when you come home. That's it. They're trying to make a big blow up out of that.
The evidence that was found on scene, were you well aware of the DNA evidence of the unknown male on these pantyhose?
I knew about 2 years ago they found a male DNA in a car. But no, what kind of DNA, no one to this day has said the DNA, what was it?
Is that car right there?
That's her car. I just bought it for her. Didn't even have license plates on it. So yeah, sure. I said, well, I ordered the new plates. The plates that are on, that's what she wanted. That's why I didn't, oh yeah, sure,
The suspect in this case, Keith Holmes, you have no connection to him, right?
I'm from the East Coast.
What gets you upset about the fact that you were telling me a little bit earlier that this DNA evidence has just come through?
Well, what the hell have they been doing for 6.5 years? I mean, come on, if it's been on file, instead of looking at me and putting a police car out here 7 days a week, why didn't you do something like that? Like find out where the DNA goes to. Wouldn't you think that's why they do these things?
What was it like to be under the spotlight?
Well, I didn't really bother me per se, but you know, it's how other people present you, and they look at you and you look like the bad guy, that you did something when you didn't do nothing.
And if you would like to view the entire Paul Fields interview, you can go to KPVM's YouTube page or Facebook page called Local Pahrump.
Reports are now surfacing regarding the 81-year-old suspect in the Maureen Fields disappearance case. Apparently, Keith Holmes lost his daughter in an explosion that occurred in Pear Blossom, California in May of 1994. His daughter, Lynn Standish, was reportedly walking with her 2 young children in the desert when an item she picked up exploded. Lynn's 4-year-old son, Michael Hepburn, who was with her at the time, escaped injury. She also had a 9-year-old son, Jeffrey Standish, who was not with the two at the time of the incident. Keith Holmes was married to his wife, Virginia, who sought justice for their child's death. When a person by the name of Scott Douglas Hampby was identified as the person who built a pipe bomb and placed it in the area, it is unclear whether he intended to kill Lynn with the device. Keith Holmes is now at Patton State Hospital after being transferred from the LA County Jail for a violation of his probation for 2 incidences in 2009 of annoying or molesting a child.
And don't go anywhere. We'll be back with Week in Review in just a moment.